Have you ever started something brand new? A new job, learning a new skill, and you had it all figured out in your head, but then the reality was just completely different? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into today. We're looking at a journey into coaching and the really surprising, almost paradoxical lessons that pop up when the plan meets the real world. See, whenever we start a new adventure, we always begin with a plan, right? We do the research, we learn all the techniques, and we picture exactly how it's all going to go down. It's like we have this perfect map in our hands, this set of instructions that we think is going to guide us every step of the way. But here's the thing. The moments that really truly change us, the growth that matters, it's never written on that map. It happens in those unexpected detours, those messy, real-life moments that pretty much challenge everything we thought we knew. So today, we're going to walk through 5 of these totally counterintuitive lessons, 5 aha moments that didn't just reshape a coaching practice, but honestly, a whole way of thinking. And just so we're clear, these aren't just little tips and tricks. These are fundamental shifts in perspective, the kind that can only come from that gap between knowing something in your head and actually living it. So first, we have to talk about this massive chasm between the idea of becoming something and the actual boots-on-the-ground experience that completely transforms you. And this really captures that difference perfectly. You've got the map on one side, that's all our neat theories, our clean little techniques. But on the other side, you have the journey. And that's the messy, unpredictable, lived reality where the real transformation actually happens. So this brings us to our very first paradox. And it's one that goes against a core instinct for anyone who, loves to solve problems. The assumption most people have, especially when they're new to something like coaching, is that your job is to be the expert. Someone comes to you with a problem and you're supposed to have the solution, to just fix it for them. It's a really powerful impulse. And you can see that internal battle laid out right here. Look at that fixer column. The goal is to provide solutions, the action is to give directions. It's all about rushing in. But then, look at the coach column. The goal is just to create conditions for the other person to discover things for themselves. The pace is all about trusting the process. Learning to tell that inner fixer to take a back seat is maybe the first huge step you take from theory into practice. Okay, the second paradox is a really surprising one. It's all about finding freedom inside of structure. A lot of us think that using a framework or a model is going to be super restrictive. The fear is that it'll just feel robotic, that it will completely kill the natural, organic flow of a conversation. And at first, that's exactly how the author felt, trying to avoid any kind of structure. But you know what happens with no structure? Confusion, pressure. The turning point was discovering this exact paradoxical truth right here. By just taking a moment to agree on a focus at the start of a session, it created this clear, safe space. And that didn't limit the conversation. It actually let it go deeper. The pressure to perform just melted away and was replaced by actual presence. All right, our third paradox is all about how something that feels like a huge disadvantage can actually turn out to be your greatest strength. So this all comes from a personal story. The author chose to study all the coaching materials in 2 languages, Greek and English. Now that sounds like an extra difficulty, right? But what it did was it forced them to slow down. They had to translate, process, and really think about every single concept. It meant they had to listen with way more precision and constantly ask for clarification. And that so-called difficulty, it turned into a superpower, this incredibly deep, attentive presence in every single session. Now, paradox number 4. This might just be the most powerful one of all. It's about the incredible value of saying absolutely nothing. We tend to think that a coach's value is all about asking those brilliant, insightful questions. You feel this pressure to always be contributing, always be guiding the conversation, to always be doing something useful. But the author talks about this one session where they felt like they did almost nothing. They just listened, they reflected back what they heard, and they just held the space. Afterwards, they were worried they hadn't offered enough value. But guess what? The client had a massive breakthrough. This quote just says it all. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is create a space so safe and so quiet that people can finally hear their own inner voice. Okay, our final paradox, and maybe the most liberating one, tackles this huge question. Who is actually responsible for the results? Wow, this is a heavy one. It's the belief that if your client succeeds, it's because of you. And if they don't, well, it's your fault. That mindset creates an absolutely crushing amount of pressure. Every session turns into a performance, and you feel like you have to deliver. And this table just lays out that shift so beautifully. The performer thinks, I must deliver results, which just leads to pressure and disappointment. But the partner thinks, we are on a shared journey, which leads to this feeling of liberation and presence. The author learned this the hard way with a client who just wasn't engaged and realized they weren't a failed performer, they were just a present partner. Letting go of being solely responsible is just profoundly freeing. So, when you put all of this together, what does it really add up to? Well, the real journey isn't just about learning a bunch of techniques. It's about this deep internal transformation. It's a journey of becoming. These 5 paradoxes, they represent this fundamental evolution. And it's not just for a coach, it's for any leader, any teacher, any learner. You're moving from performance pressure to partnership power, from trying to control everything to just trusting the process, from feeling like you need all the answers to simply holding space for others. And that's not just a change in a professional skill. It starts to seep into how you live your whole life. And really, this is the ultimate destination. You stop trying to be something, and you simply are that thing, while at the same time you recognize that the learning, the evolving, it never ever stops. It's a constant process of becoming. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. In your own journey, whatever it may be, what's the map that you're holding on to just a little too tightly? What's that long-held belief that, if you were just willing to challenge it, might unlock your own incredible, unexpected transformation?